Lexie Hull didn't just have a good game, she went nuclear.
Lexie, that final three-pointer kind of felt like the perfect end of that night. Just if you could just talk to me about the celebration, how much of a relief that was for you, just kind of to punctuate it like that.
Hull, one more three. Oh, what a sight for Lexie Hull.
We believe that every time she shoots it, it's going to go in. But for her to finally feel that and see that and play with so much confidence, it's big for us. When she knocks down shots, we're a different team.
Lexie Hull, though, the bucket and the foul.
The player who couldn't buy a bucket for weeks suddenly erupted, leading the Indiana Fever to humiliate Angel Reese's Chicago Sky. And here's the twist. They did it without Caitlin Clark and with no point guards available.
Like the Indiana Fever has defeated the Chicago Sky with only 9 damn players on the team. Game we seen tonight, Lexie Hull, MVP, bruh. I mean, she was hitting threes like it was no tomorrow. Now, she did have a scary incident in this game where she rolled her ankle and she had a little collision. I'm hoping everything is all right with her, but overall, Lexie Hull looked sensational.
So how did this shorthanded team pull off one of the most dominant wins of the season? The Fever's worst nightmare had already begun. Caitlin Clark was sidelined with quad and groin injuries since mid-July, with no return date in sight. Then, in the same game against Phoenix, disaster doubled down. Sydney Colson tore her ACL in the first quarter.
And here's the hustle right there. And as she comes down. Obviously, a really awkward when
plant.
She lands on that left.
Aari McDonald broke her foot in the fourth. 2-point guards. One night, both out for the season. The trade deadline had passed. No replacements could be signed. The Fever had 0 healthy point guards.
All right, who has the Fever's voodoo doll? Because this is getting out of control. It was just announced that Sid Colson and Aari McDonald are out for the season. Sid tore her ACL and Aari McDonald broke a bone in her right foot. The Fever cannot catch a break this season. And this is so heartbreaking for these two, especially Aari joining the team midway through the season, not even knowing if she was going to be playing in the W this season at all, being such a strong contributor to the team. And then Sid having that veteran leadership role, keeping the locker room fun and exciting. I mean, everyone loves Sid. And with these two out, the Indiana Fever officially do not have a point guard. We still have no timetable for Caitlin Clark's return, and at this point she has missed more games than she's even played. Sophie Cunningham can run the one, but she has been absolutely killing it from the wing, so I would hate to see them try to shuffle her around. And because of league rules, the Indiana Fever can't even sign a hardship player before tomorrow's game. So they currently have 9 players available with no point guard.
The Chicago Sky saw their chance. Winless against the Fever all season, this was their revenge game. Indiana came in wounded, undermanned, and vulnerable. Everything pointed to a Sky victory. But that's not what happened. Lexie Hull had been in a nightmare of her own. Her last 2 weeks? A brutal 2 for 25 from 3. Hesitating on open looks. Confidence slipping away with every miss. Her mother hadn't seen her hit a 3 since the start of August. After the Phoenix loss, arguably her worst game of the season, Kelsey Mitchell pulled her aside. She told her, "We're counting on you every night." Fast forward to the Chicago game. Early in the first quarter, Hull stepped into her first three-pointer. The ball arced through the air and swished. Caitlin Clark, watching from the bench, jumped up in pure joy.
Hull, open 3. Oh, what a sight for Lexie Hull. She has needed that one to drop.
Lexie Hull catching fire.
Celebrating like she had made the shot herself. That single make changed everything. Hull started hunting for shots, moving without the ball, making reads, playing free.
Colson out for the year with the ACL tear. Lexie Hull, though, the bucket and the foul. He's dealt with so much scoring adversity lately.
Yeah, terrific baseline execution. She comes off the curl.
She finished 4 for 6 from deep, with a season-high 17 points and a plus 22 plus-minus.
You know, her just adjusting to not starting games, coming off the bench.
Cunningham draws the defense. Hull rolls in the corner 3.
Tell you what, this Fever team is going to be very dangerous no matter the roster.
Oh, Lexie Hull, heat checking her napalm era right now.
Every make was celebrated like a championship moment. Aaliyah Boston flashed the three-point sign. Sophie Cunningham wrapped Hull in a hug. Chicago had no idea they were witnessing a complete role reversal. With no point guards, Coach Stephanie White turned to Kelsey Mitchell. It was the first time since college she'd had to run an offense full-time. Mitchell's instincts have always been scorer first, but this time she sacrificed her own shots to set up teammates.
What a matchup between her and Boston, something I'm keeping my eye on.
Mitchell trying to go one-on-one after getting the handoff. Back to Boston, sets her feet, nails the jumper. Kelsey Mitchell will stay true to her natural position. She's been playing so well from there, but she will get some opportunities as she jets by the defender, jumps it off to Howard, and Howard for 2.
The result? A season-high 8 assists to go with her scoring. The adjustment wasn't instant. Early on, you could see her fighting the urge to take over offensively. But then it clicked. She started seeing passing lanes that weren't there before, threading the ball through traffic, setting up easy baskets.
She'll be tasked with defending Mitchell. Mitchell coming off the screen, trying to create some separation. 2 come, dumps it up to Boston, it trickles in.
When Chicago played her for the pass, she scored. When they guarded her shot, she found the open teammate. By the end of the game, Mitchell had proven something big. She could run an offense and still be lethal as a scorer.
Mitchell 2-on-1, it's a foot race. Mitchell to Cunningham right there for 2 more. Pointed out the fact that Indiana just 5 turnovers with no true point guard. Mitchell pipes in another triple.
Coach White has talked all season about bringing in quality human beings, players willing to sacrifice for the team. This game was proof. Lexie Hull broke her shooting slump. Kelsey Mitchell reinvented her role. Boston anchored the defense. Sophie Cunningham filled gaps everywhere. For the first time, the Fever didn't look like a team relying on one superstar. They looked like a playoff threat with multiple weapons, a group that could win ugly, win shorthanded, and win convincingly. Chicago thought they were catching Indiana at their weakest. Instead, they got run off the floor. Final score, 92-70, a 22-point blowout. 4th straight win over the Sky this season. For Lexie Hull, it was the redemption she desperately needed. For Mitchell, it was a career night as a facilitator. For the Fever, it was a statement. We are more than Caitlin Clark. This win was more than just a number in the standings. It was proof that the Fever have built something real, a culture where everyone knows their role and is willing to step up when it matters most. With Clark's return on the horizon, the Fever will have not just their superstar, but a supporting cast battle-tested through adversity. The WNBA just got its warning. This team is dangerous. If you're still watching, drop Team Fever in the comments to show your support for Lexie Hull's epic comeback. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more, and check out our next breakdown on the screen now.
Just what's the reaction been from you guys, the players, the coaches, to losing Sid and Ari?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, just brokenhearted for them. They're 2 really good people that you hate to see this happen to. They've been an integral part of what we've been doing, and so hate it for them. Unfortunately, it's part of the deal.
Breaking news. The Indiana Fever just fired a star player. And yes, it's all connected to Caitlin Clark. 2 major roster cuts, a playoff race on the line, and a decision that's left fans stunned.
So yeah, a disaster. An absolute disaster for the Indiana Fever. She can make her money in the offseason, but Sid Colson's probably not going to play ball again till 2027, and she might be done.
Was this about performance, locker room tension, or protecting their franchise star? We're diving into the shocking truth behind this move and what it means for the rest of the season.
Oh, folks, this Indiana Fever season, it just went from bad to worse. Let's call a spade here. It just went from bad to worse. Caitlin Clark, she's been in the lineup, she's been out of the lineup, she's been hurt, she's been healthy, she's been hurt, she's been healthy. Now she's out for an extended period of time. The WNBA website has her listed return date as August 12th. Yesterday, we see Sydney Colson go down, hope for the best, we get the worst. Ari McDonald sitting the entire 4th quarter. Kelsey Mitchell's on the floor. I'm asking myself, Why is Kelsey Mitchell playing this whole entire fourth? Oh, that's because Ari McDonald is...
This wasn't supposed to happen. The Indiana Fever were finally building momentum after a brutal start to the season. Then, disaster struck. In one single night, the Fever lost 2 key point guards, Sydney Coulson with a torn ACL and Ari McDonald with a broken bone in her foot. Both were declared out for the rest of the season.
Wow. Horrible news. Sydney Coulson, left ACL tear. Wow. At her age, there's a chance this was it. And Ari McDonald, broken bone in right foot, will both miss the remainder of the season after suffering injuries during our game in Phoenix on Thursday. Brutal. I mean, that game last night, I mean, that exposed the coach further. I mean, more than she already has been. And we lost 2 very, very competent players, including the starting point guard that was filling in for the other starting point guard. This is a disaster.
These weren't just bench fillers. Coulson was a veteran leader, the calming voice in huddles, the one younger players leaned on. McDonald was a spark plug, giving the team speed and defensive energy they desperately needed. The injuries left the Fever without a single true point guard while Caitlin Clark recovered. It also left the front office with an impossible choice.
And then there's the Indiana Fever side of things. You know, look, they needed Ari McDonald. Beyond just needing her in a hardship situation, they didn't have a backup point guard or ball handler who could put pressure on the rim, who could set other people up and could score beyond Caitlin Clark. Ari McDonald fit like a glove in that respect. She also hustled her tail off on defense, provided a different look there, a certain level of tenacity. And then Sydney Coulson could be called in and you know, again, as a defensive player, a steady presence. I don't think, you know, if I'm being honest, I don't think the loss of Coulson as a player on the floor is tremendous. But as a presence in the locker room, she can still be there, but she helps out while on the floor and while on the bench and all those things. Not to mention, when you lose the rest of your players, you're just out of options and you have to go to the next player. So somebody with that kind of experience is a real benefit.
How do you replace 2 starting caliber guards when the trade deadline has already passed, the salary cap is locked, and every roster spot is already taken? That's where Caitlin Clark's name comes into the equation. Clark's absence had already forced Indiana into awkward solutions. Coach Stephanie White had shifted Kelsey Mitchell into the lead guard role, even though she's naturally a scorer, and had Sophie Cunningham initiating the offense despite not being a true ball handler. White has also been reluctant to use certain bench players like KK, Chloe Beebe, and Bree Turner.
Man, I don't know what their next move is going to be. Hopefully it's a good one. But we see what's going on with this with this team and this front office, man. We see what's going on, right? Coach don't want to play Bibby. Coach don't want to play Timpson. I don't know, man. The rotation is all over the place. We see what's going on.
In several games, she's played as few as 7 players, even when more were available. So with the team down to the thinnest rotation in the WNBA, the Fever made their move, waiving a player to create room for a hardship signing. The most controversial target, Chloe Beebe, who had only just signed for the rest of the season.
This is a disaster. And what this does for a potential playoff push, I don't know. Because, you know, I've seen people say, well, sign a guard or whatever. Well, there's salary cap implications out there too right now. I even saw somebody say we might have to waive Chloe Beebe to sign a point guard. So a lot of reaction. My heart breaks for Sydney and Ari McDonald. Do not rush Caitlin Clark back, though. She's going to have to play. I mean, I don't know what else they do.
To some fans, this decision looked ruthless. Beebe wasn't injured, but she wasn't in White's rotation, and every spot on the roster is now critical. Others suggested a more brutal alternative. Waive Sydney Coulson outright to free up a permanent slot, even though she's now sidelined and may be headed toward retirement. Online theories exploded. Was this really about opening space for a player who could complement Caitlin Clark upon her return? Or was it about clearing out anyone the coaching staff didn't trust in high-pressure games? Names immediately started flying around. Kennedy Carter, an explosive scorer with the ability to run an offense, became the fan favorite, though her history of locker room issues made her a risk.
Nobody better say Kennedy Carter. It's not going to happen. All right? It's not going to happen. Kennedy Carter, yes, a phenomenal player, but I really don't feel like she like Indiana. And I don't feel like she like many people in the WNBA. The way she keep going from team to team to team, all right? It's not going to work. So just throw that out the window. Anybody ready to say Kennedy Carter? I know we're desperate at this point. We are completely desperate. But fam, Kennedy Carter is not going to work, all right? Let's just keep it a grand. Yes, you can have the talent, but you gotta have the character to stay around with these other players as well and make these other players want to ball out with you, right? It's all in the motion, man. It's all in the motion. It all coexists, right? You can't forget about somebody's character and just think about their skills. All of it coexists, right? So, yeah, I can't vouch for Kennedy Carter, but everybody else who I named.
Others wished for Grace Berger, a smart playmaker now in Dallas, but her contract made that almost impossible. The hardship slot means the Fever can temporarily sign an extra player while injuries pile up, but the WNBA's talent pool is thin this late in the season. Finding a game-ready point guard who can step in and mesh with Clark is like finding water in a desert. And here's the real issue. Without Caitlin Clark, the Fever risks sliding right out of the playoff picture. With her, and the right player by her side, they could make a serious run. This firing isn't just about one player, it's about reshaping the entire team's identity to match the way Clark plays. The fan base is split. Some say this was a calculated move to give Clark the best possible shot at leading the team into the playoffs. Others say it's unfair to a player who never got a real chance to prove herself. Social media has been a war zone. Accusations of favoritism, debates over the WNBA's tight roster rules, and endless speculation about Clark's influence on front office decisions. Here's my take. This is a high-risk, high-reward gamble by the Fever. They've chosen to sacrifice depth now in hopes of finding a guard who can slot next to Clark and immediately elevate the team. If it works, and the Fever go on a deep playoff run, this move will be remembered as the front office's boldest and smartest decision of the year. If it fails, it will be remembered as the moment Indiana threw away its season. Because here's the reality. The Fever's offense without a true point guard is broken. Every possession is harder, every mistake is magnified, and opponents can dictate the pace with ease. Clark changes that instantly. Her court vision forces defenses to stretch. Her deep shooting opens space for players like Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, and her leadership turns chaos into structure. The question is whether she can get back in time, and whether the new roster move gives her the support she needs to thrive. So what do you think? Was this firing about protecting Caitlin Clark's playoff hopes, or was it an unfair move that could backfire? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're still watching, type Clark will lead, so I know my real ones are here.
Today, Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the WNBA? I know she's made a cameo here, she's made a cameo there, she was featured as part of this rollout here, featured as part of this rollout there, but is this our first official Caitlin Clark solo commercial since she has joined the WNBA? And as well,
the $1 billion Nike deal just dropped, and it's already shaking the basketball world. But here's the twist no one saw coming. Sophie Cunningham, the Indiana Fever's fiery enforcer, just signed a jaw-dropping $20 million deal with Arby's. Yes, the fast food chain.
Well, we know somebody that has gotten ridiculously popular this year with the Indiana Fever. I made a prediction that she was going to be the second most popular player on this team by the end of the year. And then, of course, there was the big incident during the Connecticut Sun game. And by the end of that game, she was known as Caitlin Clark's enforcer, right? The one that's got her back. At times, it feels like the only one that's got her back, if I'm being quite honest. Well, that has led to a lot of opportunities because she has gone viral, all right? She's gone viral over hot girls eat Arby's. Yeah.
And behind both deals is one story that's about loyalty, power, and a move that's rewriting WNBA history. Nike had been tracking Caitlin Clark since her days lighting up scoreboards at Iowa. They saw her drop 40 points on national TV. They saw her fill NBA-sized arenas for women's games. They watched her break records, pull in ratings that networks hadn't seen before, and sell out merch faster than they could restock it. When Caitlin entered the WNBA, Nike knew she was more than just a star. She was the star.
So in your career, you got to match up against other Nike hoopers. Do you have a favorite matchup?
You're gonna get me in trouble. You know, getting to share the court with her was pretty fun, and you just see her competitive spirit.
So they made the biggest move in league history, a $1 billion campaign with a $25 million personal deal for Caitlin, making her the face of women's basketball for the next decade. But Caitlin had a plan Nike didn't expect. Just 1 week before the official campaign launch, she called Nike's top brass with an unusual request. She wanted them to create a custom sneaker, but not for herself. This shoe would bear her name and the initials of another player, Sophie Cunningham. Nike hesitated. Signature deals are solo deals. That's the whole point. But Caitlin stood her ground. I didn't get here alone, and I won't stay here alone. They agreed. On the day of the shoot, cameras rolled, lights blazed, and Caitlin opened a golden box. Inside, a white and gold sneaker embroidered with the word Legacy on the tongue and the initials SC. She turned to Sophie and said just 3 words, "This is ours."
And it looked like Nike has finally broken their silence about Caitlin Clark. Guys, then it goes on to say, but in her rookie season, she only wore a handful of Kobe PE sneakers, which means that there's possibly more Kobe PE shoes featuring Caitlin Clark that could be coming out. Now, we do know there's another pair, I believe they're white and blue, that is set to be coming out in October. But it goes on to say, now Nike is scheduled to release not 1, but 2 shoes for Caitlin Clark. That's not all. In addition, 2 different shoes. Caitlin Clark will get her own signature logo and an entire clothing line. Damn.
It was a moment that blew up social media within hours. No WNBA star had ever split their spotlight before, and Caitlin didn't just give Sophie a gift, she gave her a platform. Why Sophie? Because when Caitlin entered the league under fire, booed, targeted, even shoved, Sophie was there. She stepped in when veterans wouldn't.
It just feels like people are jealous of this new little wave of...
They are, but I just hate that because, like, this is what we've always wanted as a league. So, like, who cares who gets the credit? And if you're smart, you're making money off of them.
Yeah.
Like, you are literally making money from the viewership.
And what she made, the chirp was about how she didn't help plan the fucking...
Who cares? Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I just hate when, like, people do stuff to get, it's like clickbait.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and there's so much clickbait, especially surrounding Caitlin. And so, like, it's just like, just be nice. Like, why can't people just be nice?
Yeah.
That's what I don't.
Why bully the person who is, like, not 100% responsible, but, like, has a huge role in growing your sport?
Dude, and it literally, like, pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as
She took hits, got into confrontations, and even paid fines to protect her rookie teammate. And Nike wasn't the only one watching. Out of nowhere, Arby's, yes, the fast food giant, swooped in. They saw Sophie as exactly the kind of bold, unapologetic personality that could grab attention outside of sports. The deal? $20 million over several years. It was one of the most unexpected endorsement moves in sports history. Why Arby's? Because Sophie isn't polished for the cameras. She's real. She's taken bruises, traded trash talk, and still stood tall. And now, she's using that image to break into a market no WNBA player has touched. The reaction around the league was immediate. Aja Wilson posted a single emoji. Angel Reese went live to talk about it. Some players were silent, others were openly emotional. Inside one locker room, there were tears, not of anger, but admiration. As one Fever teammate put it, she didn't just take the bag, she shared it. Who does that? But Caitlin's play here was bigger than Sophie. Nike quietly approved something they're calling the legacy line. Each year, Caitlin gets to choose one player, not a teammate, not necessarily a friend, just someone who's earned it, to be part of a co-branded release. Each player gets their own golden box moment. It's not just a sneaker drop, it's a dynasty. This is where jealousy creeps in, because in a league where rookies are often shoved around, Caitlin is now building a power circle. The more she lifts others, the more her influence grows. And Sophie Cunningham, she just became the first name etched in gold. The WNBA has always been tough. Rivalries run deep, rookies get tested, and respect is earned the hard way. But Caitlin Clark just changed the game, not by dominating the scoreboard, but by reshaping what power looks like in women's basketball. The billion-dollar Nike deal makes her the league's face. The legacy line makes her the league's kingmaker. And Sophie Cunningham's $20 million Arby's contract proves that the ripple effects are real. She went from being a respected veteran to one of the most marketable athletes in the game, all because someone she had once protected decided to return the favor in the biggest way possible. It's a reminder of a simple truth: you protect those who protect you. In a sports world obsessed with taking, Caitlin Clark is making headlines for giving. And in doing so, she's not just the face of the WNBA, she's the heart of it. This isn't just about money. It's about rewriting the rules of influence, loyalty, and legacy. And with one gesture, Caitlin Clark just proved she's playing chess, while everyone else is still figuring out checkers. Who should Caitlin pick next for the Golden Box? Drop your pick in the comments. I'm reading them all.